Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. Crist here. Interviews. Interviews is a series of interviews that I've created and interviewing people that have many years of practice in yoga, martial arts, Tai Chi, shamanism, any spiritual practice. And the whole idea is to ask people that have 20, 30, 40 years of practice, how has that affected them in their everyday life? How does that accumulated, or what are the gifts? So I've gone around the world. We've done several interviews with amazing people and practitioners and teachers. And of course, I need to bring it back home to the source, to the spring itself. Mm-hmm. So Nina, welcome. I'm honored. I'm honored to ask you. I'm honored to hear. Of course, we talk about all this all the time. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a really nice, good time to also open it to the public, these conversations we have and how we live life.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be part of the interview series with Ray, and as a witness to all the interviews that Ray has been offering. And I am so happy to sit here together and to share the gifts, share the blessings that the practice has offered both of us, but even for myself, beginning at the age of 17, diving in to the wisdom practices and really drinking from the wellspring of this ancient wisdom.
Your practice since you were 17 is practice of Kung Fu, right? And
yes.
Living essentially a lifestyle, martial arts lifestyle, being like almost like a monastery lifestyle, right?
Yes.
Being secluded, being in a dojo and learning and teaching constantly. How does that show up for you now, 20 years in this practice?
It's such a powerful question because, as life unfolds, it's each decision, each action that really starts to weave the pattern of the life that we live. And for me, my discipleship, which is this deep practice of really immersing myself in this study, living at the dojo, living on 30 acres that was gated, and really just connecting with the source of this wisdom. The gifts are infinite. And they continue to reveal themselves to me. I will say the most essential gift I've received from my discipleship, from my discipline of connecting with these teachings every single day and sharing them with as many people as I possibly can, has been truly falling in love with myself. Truly falling in love with myself. That has been the gift, the ultimate gift.
And that feels like what I'm hearing you say is like, we live amongst people, and many times we'll maybe feel judgment or criticism, or we'll feel that the world is a big world of knowledge and maybe we're not enough. And kind of like focusing outside ourselves and allowing that to take our power away, right? Is that kind of like redirecting that energy towards yourself and say, I am who I am,
yes.
Right?
Yes. And I think that was the biggest question at 17, going into my studies, trying to figure out, who am I? What do I want in my life? Who do I want to be? How do I want to show up for myself and for my loved ones and for my community? And the path of the martial artist, is you start with the white belt and then you progress on through the belt and you make your way to black belt. And then as you achieve the black belt, then it's going deeper into mastery. And, as I was realizing, moving through the ranks, I wanted to achieve the next level. I wanted to receive the next promotion. And, landing at black belt in my mid-20s, I arrived and then it's kind of like, okay, well, what's next? Here I am at 25. What's next? And really continuing to share outward into the communities. I taught thousands and thousands of people in districts, school districts, and corporations, and on. What I realized as I continued on the path was that the true teacher, the true path, the true teachings are within myself. And that was one of the biggest ahas. And that's the gift that I really want to share, and we continue to share through the Jaguar path. And The martial arts styles, as a practitioner of multiple styles and a full spectrum of healing, the healing arts and the defensive arts, and finding that flow between both ends of the spectrum is really fully expressed in the Jaguar yoga, this shamanic yoga that we offer in our school. This yoga that incorporates martial arts, not only the Tai Chi and Qigong and the warm-ups and the transitions, but the Kung Fu, like the martial mudras and the Kung Fu expressions to bring this peaceful warrior spirit more intentionally into the yoga practice.
That's beautiful. Yes, absolutely. And what I hear you saying, I think was important to share with our audience, is that I'm not sure is well known enough, that it's widely known, that what you said, and it reminded me of the martial arts stem from the Taoists in China who created acupuncture, who created the medicine with through herbs, right? And they're the same ones that know about all the channels of the body, so they know the entrance points, the portals. They can be portals that if I need to defend myself, I will come into a portal and shut down a channel. Or if you're shut down, I will come in with my other hand and my other way to open that channel, right? Is there something, how do these channels for you, when you're talking about meridians to name them, why are they at all interesting for anyone, or how they're related to our everyday life?
It's such a powerful question, Ray. Thank you for asking. Well, first and foremost, I find when people come to the Jaguar path, they're asking, teach me, show me, and I'll say it over and over: feel, touch, feel, connect with your body, ask your body. The meridians, this irrigation system, that's really fascinating and just like truly awesome. Our irrigation system is how our bodies nourishes, how we stay fortified. So we have these energy channels that flow through the body, connected to the vital organs, and from the channels move out through the extremities. And these organs, each of the organs, are where the emotions are born. So the chemistry in the body, literally, it's where, the liver is where anger is born. And if that liver channel is blocked, we're going to feel angry. We're going to be triggered more easily with whatever's happening in the external world. If the liver meridian is open, if that channel is open, something can happen in life, and it's okay, right? You have more resilience. You aren't as easily triggered. Now, the color of the liver meridian, when it's blocked, and that secretion, that bile is secreted in the liver, that you feel in your physical body as anger, that's a color of like green. And so we want to have crystal clear waters within, so that our lens that we see life through is clear, and so we can make really intentional decisions. Through clear lenses we can see, and we can really move with integrity. Now, if I have that liver energy surging through my body and it has that green bile, then my mind is going to then kind of get hooked into that, and it almost is just like, it's just this cycle that is just continuous. So the more that life is happening, the more reasons I find to be angry, and it just keeps going and keeps going.
Right.
And the martial arts and the yoga is a way to move that energy out of the body. And so for me, there's the strong movements of martial arts, the strikes, the blocks, the kicks. Those are not about, we call it like mixing it up with someone else. It's about mixing it up within yourself to release that sensation from the physical body. And that's one of the things that's unique to Jaguar yoga, is the breathing.
So I've always loved martial arts, and I was deep into martial arts through the 90s, through that decade. And of course, I discovered the similarities. There was like, when I'm in Warrior 1 or Warrior 2 in my yoga posture, we call it what's that stance?
That would be a front stance or a bow stance.
A bow stance, right, where you're sitting. And it's also described in yoga when you're in Warrior 2, that it's like the warrior on the horse aiming with his bow and arrow, right? Or when we're in goddess posture, what is that called?
That's a horse stance.
The horse stance, again. So these postures, I feel, are the same because they give you the strongest foundation, right? And
Yes.
they give you the strongest foundation because they open specific meridians. So I think what's really interesting in talking about the 60-hour training that's coming up,
Oh, yes.
3 weekends of training, I think that the most interesting aspect is understanding about meridians without having to become a acupuncturist or becoming a proficient, but just to understand the basic emotions that each internal organ has in meridian, and maybe understanding how those postures help us balance that out. So would you care to share just a couple of organs, and when you said this about, so when I get angry, it's my liver that's shut down.
Yes.
What other organs would you like to share and their emotions?
Well, I think I'll speak to the ones that I think are really finding their way out of balance in this recent past. The kidneys are where we hold fear. Mm-hmm. So fear can be really crippling, like paralyzing. And as we move through yoga, martial arts, shamanism, we learn to transform the energy, so we can transform fear into an expansive awareness, a heightened awareness, and move through life with more caution. So we're instinctively feeling fear for a reason. So rather than trying to shut that off or dismiss it, like welcome it, it's like, okay, there's some reason I'm feeling this, but shifting just a bit to view through the lens of caution with awareness rather than feeling into that paralysis of fear.
Nice.
I also feel the lungs have, often find a lung meridian being out of balance. And when the lung meridian is out of balance, you can feel an overwhelm of grief and sadness. And we want to balance the grief and the sadness with kindness. So that can be expressing kindness to others, receiving kindness that's being offered from others, allowing ourselves to be open to receive that kindness, and even doing small things for yourself that are just really kind. Even in the thinking mind, allowing the thoughts to be more sweet and kind. And we can even feel like a frenzy, and that's in the heart. So the heart is where we have this sensation of feeling almost panic or frenzy. And that frenzy actually comes from, you may even find it if you're having a really good time and you're feeling really joyful, and then it kind of gets to this peak, and if it goes past that peak, it kind of flips into this space of frenzy, which you can even hear sometimes if you're sitting at a restaurant, maybe the table next to you is a little extra like boisterous and loud, and it's like almost off-putting if it gets beyond a certain point. And if there's joy around, let's say some children laughing, or some even like in animals, there's a joyfulness. There's a soft like sweetness to the joy. So in the meridians, there's this fine line, right? Finding that space of balance and allowing the sweetness and the kindness and the acceptance of what's happening to soften and to allow the imbalance to return and find that equilibrium.
That's beautiful. So every posture, in other words, will open and clear out one or two or a set of meridians, right? And it's almost like, okay, so we turn like frenzy we turn it into joy, or fear, you turn into caution, right? So it's one thing to be fearful, but it's another thing to be saying, okay, well, I'm treading with caution in this place. Like, in other words, we don't lose our personal power. So when we balance the emotions, we begin to walk in a different way, right? And not allowing I feel, and it's the work that we've been doing together, it's like, when I can balance those emotions, then I can walk with integrity, I can walk with clarity, I can act and interact from a whole different level, right? I'm not reacting because I'm fearful. I'm being mindful because I'm cautious. So I'm choosing my words rather than shutting down, right?
In that space, less energy is wasted, and moving through life feels more productive and positive. And there's a sense of ease that enters life that is one of the biggest blessings any human could receive. This space of ease and calm and peace within your heart. And these practices are the true teacher. And each of these practices that we'll share in the Jaguar path are directly connected with nature. The medicine that exists all around us all the time, that's easily accessible.
Yeah, easily accessible. I feel overall the gift of yoga, and especially the yoga we're offering through the Jaguar path, that is really backed up with Chinese medicine, with Kung Fu and the martial arts, that have a lot of influence and understanding of the world of energies from shamanism, actually can offer that, like a way to move in the world with balance, even in difficult times, because the fact that we practice yoga or martial arts doesn't mean that life can become easy all of a sudden around us.
Okay.
But amongst the COVID or amongst any personal or family difficulties, I feel that's where the word warrior comes in. I feel that we become warriors where you just did it. You just take a deep inhale and you begin to reach into the toolbox and say, I'm feeling this, like anger that you said, which is something we see a lot of in the world.
Yes.
And I'm going to transform it into fire of creation, into doing and offering to the world. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the 3 weekends of the summer.
Oh, it's going to be so much
sharing.
fun. It's going to be so much fun.
What would be one thing or one sentence of what you really are looking forward to sharing and giving to other people through these 3 weekends?
These 3 weekends will transform your life, without a doubt. And it will transform your life through a joyful process. One of the things I hear so often is like, wow, when we share this, I feel so strong. And there's something about feeling strong that is just magical. And so in these 3 weekends, we will flow, we will dive in, we will connect with the physical, we'll connect with the mind to really quench the thirst of the thinking mind and offer deep knowledge that I don't see being shared anywhere else. This is from our hearts. This is from our experience. This is coupled with evidence-based research and deep Taoist ancient knowledge and our direct practice. So we have a huge treat, huge blessings.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, me too.
So, Nina, I am honored to do an interview with you and offer this inner landscape and deep knowledge of years of practice with our beloved friends and students.
Yes, and no prior experience required. And if you have a deep practice, add another dimension. This is a huge gift, and I'm excited. You're invited. We'd love to share this practice with you.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you for being here.
Namaste.